Give me 1 second, man. I'm just getting some things together. Try. We're gonna get this teaching. 1 second. 1 second.
Yeah. Give us the teaching of Marcus Garvey. Kebranekas means glory of kings. Give I Selassie and keep the images of lies for yourself. People without a vision perish like suicide. You tell me it's not about color, still you refuse to take the picture off the wall. All you do is treat the brothers and keep them confused. They don't know who to call in this spiritual war. Now tell me, have a paradise in the sky, but that's a lie. And now tell me, I was born in sin and shaped in iniquity, and love created I. Look how many prophets tried to open our eyes. You can't fool me. Look how they're treating us. New millennium slavery, hiding the chains and still beating us daily. Now we're mentally poisoned to fight with black skin. Bleaching at the inting, far out and far in. Sin, you tell me it's not about color, still you refuse. Take the picture out your books. I know that's not how he looks. Kush. All you do is trick the brothers and keep them confused. They don't know who to call on in this heretical war. Don't tell me of a paradise in the sky, and that's a lie. And now tell me I was born in sin and shaped in iniquity when love created I. Look how many prophets tried to open our eyes. You can't fool me.
One second. Just getting my notes together. Hope you're having a good morning. Everybody on different time periods, as far as work and everything. So gratitude for those that's here. We play one more, then we're gonna get started.
I'm not a hunter, but I'm told that in places like in the Arctic, where indigenous people sometimes might hunt a double edged blade, and they'll put blood on the blade, and they'll melt the ice and stick the handle in the ice so that only the blade is protruding, and that a wolf will smell the blood and wants to eat, and it'll come and lick the blade trying to eat. And what happens is when the wolf licks the blade, of course, he cuts his tongue and he bleeds and he thinks he's really having a good meal. He drinks and he licks, and of course he's drinking his own blood and he kills himself. That's what the imperialists did to us with crack cocaine. You got these young brothers out there thinking that they're getting something that they're gonna make a living with. They're getting something they can buy a car like the white people have cars. Why can't I have a car? They're getting something so they can get a piece of gold. The white people have gold. Why can't I have gold? They're getting something to get a house. The white people have a house. Why can't I have a house? And they actually think that it's something that's bringing resources to them, but they're killing themselves just like the wolf who's licking the blade, and they're slowly dying without knowing. That's what's happening to the community. You with me on that? That's exactly.
It's getting the vibes, right? Peace, Noble Dre Sean. Peace, my Mufti. How you doing? How you doing? Guess I'm getting my notes together. 1 second. Just playing a little bit.
Liberty Mutual customized my car insurance, so I saved hundreds. With the money I saved, I thought I'd get a wax.
We're going to have a good one. Like and share.
In 1492, you came up on these shores. 700 years, educated by the Moors. 17th century, genocide in the gun. Middle passage blessed to market the Africans in the soul.
I'm just giving y'all a little bit as I'm getting my notes together. We're going to get started. Play another one of my favorite songs. Before we get started, this is one of my favorite songs right here, y'all. Let's go. Turn up. Hey, let's go. Oh no, that's what I am. Please understand. I wanna be a holy man. Yeah. Woo. Check. Oh no. Yeah. Come on. Yeah. Come on. I'm never gonna do it without my fez on. That's what I am. Yeah. All day long. All day long. Just wanted to play a couple songs I'm multitasking, so bear with me. But we got a couple of things to talk about today. Of course, we're going to talk about the Eurocentric and Negrocentric propaganda of that Zachariah Stinson and that Annunaki being some alien, and it's the Iberian. People send me things, so we're going to talk about a little things that's current, especially those people that be on social media. It's a guy on named Billy Carson that a lot of people like to follow on the internet, and one of my European colleagues that I tutor hit me up this morning, and he was like, "Remember everything he was teaching?" They was like, "Only a fraud can get people that frauds, but a fraud can come to a person that's just their profession and come with that propaganda and all that alien stuff that's been debunked, and then using references that's been debunked, like Zachariah Stinson, and then our own people pick this up, so-called own people. You know, no disrespect. I'm just talking about what people say to me because I know a lot of people be following that Billy Carson stuff and that Anunnaki. And when a person lie about their education and just make things up with no proof, I mean, what? And then when the COVID was going on and everybody was following that conscious community stuff, I can't remember the brother name, but it was a brother on there that was talking to Egyptology stuff, and he had a bald head with a braid, and he was quoting Zachariah Stinson stuff, some Anunnaki stuff. And it's no disrespect to nobody. I say, dude, that's no different from Dianetics. That's no different than Ron L. Hubbard. Some of the stuff that they teaching now in Nation of Islam. No disrespect to no one. No disrespect to no one. You know? No disrespect. But I wanna highlight something real fast. Let me see something. I wanna highlight something first. Before I get into uh that falseness of the Anunnaki and all that, and we taking things and not researching it all the way. And what I give respect to is a person or persons, no matter if it's a male or female, when they proven wrong, you can be proven wrong, no matter you believe it or not. But you got to deal with the information at hand. You can't build nothing on a lie and then try to defend the lie. Like that's so disheartening when I hear a lot of people do that. You know, so it was a conversation that came up to me, and I want, like I said, I'm not here to tell nobody what to do, but I know a lot of people don't read, and I know a lot of people that's in a certain religions, no matter if it's Christianity, Islam, or science, or whatever it is. A lot of them don't study. A lot of them don't have reason. A lot of them don't research words like the coded Sinaiticus and things and all these keys. Now, when I talk about things, I'm just talking about explaining uh, 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 or giving a synopsis on what we're talking about based off the information at hand. And when people make comments like the reason why the world is messed up is because of Christians or etc, that's just like saying the reason why the world is messed up because of black people. That's a harsh statement to make, very harsh and very untrue. But you know, bro, Billy got his, what do you say? Billy got his exposed wake up call. Well, I told y'all. I've been talking about this stuff forever, brothers and sisters. And that's what I be telling people, Noble, Mob. When people be acting like they don't be on the internet, Noble, when they be hearing me speak, and I be like, y'all know exactly what I'm talking about. See, they think misnombered black people stupid. Listen, listen, no disrespect. European, Albion, Trinidad, no disrespect. Somebody that ain't down with you will team up with you to destroy your own people. But they won't team up with you to destroy their own kind. They'll team up with you to destroy your own. They'll let you get all the way up there and get that money and then boom, destroy you because they know your whole stuff is pseudo. and can be destroyed in 1.2 seconds. Just like Zachariah stitching, bullcrap was destroyed. Just like behold the pale horse. When I tell y'all all that stuff, all that alien stuff, all that, man, that stuff is trash. Trash. And nobody with no right sense that call themselves some educator or some scholar, got some ancient wisdom, they ain't gonna come to me with that because I got it all. And when I say that, I mean it from academia, not boasting or bragging. No disrespect. This, I've been telling people this for a long time. But see, what Negroes are caught up in is pageantry. I told people, and when people be dissing people, I said, if we're going to deal with the information, if I'm defending you in a court of law, I don't have to believe in nothing. I have to believe in the facts and defend the facts. The facts can be defended like a lion. It can defend itself. So if I'm dealing with the facts, if I'm dealing with all the information and we basing it on information, then I got to explain it based off the information and what another person is saying or trying to add or trying to talk with their little word salad or semantics. That means nothing to me. Your wife, your family, none of that means nothing to me when you would talk some asinine stuff to your people. A real man or woman that's full of the Holy Spirit will say, well, you know what? I've been proven wrong with the facts, but I still gonna roll with how I roll. I respect somebody like that. But when you just get on social media and Negroes follow bull crap and then defend bull crap and just be posting little snippets of bull crap with no facts, I told people a long time ago from scholarship, and I stand on it. It ain't no such thing as no Anunnaki. The Anunnaki is the ancient Iberian. I challenge anyone on that from scholarship, from wisdom, and then I get in the lexicon and show you their attire is all how you dress with your tunic, cotton or silk, with your fez on or your toppy, or your beard and your sash and your sandals. Now stop playing with me. All that stuff that them lower level Freemasons be coming with is trash. It's trash. And they know it. They know it. Now we can deal with the Osiris mysteries. We can deal with things, but it's gonna go back to one source because we're not dissing nothing. So let's continue to talk about the topic at hand. Yeah, I'm on YouTube as well, Muftis. But it's a few reasons when you hear a lot of, and I'm just telling y'all about the conversations I have with people, right? So we talk about the book of Barnabas, right? A lot of people heard of the Barnabas, and this one I'll be talking about babes, and I don't want to say no name because the babe might be on here. When your imam told you not to even try to question me on nothing because you a babe. Your imam is a babe when it comes to this wisdom and understanding. Ask him. But the internet has made people so boastful in their lack of understanding that they can't even accept reason and truth. So 32 reasons or a few reasons why Barnabas is a 16th century forgery. And they say written by Muslims, but I'm not going to say written by Muslims because a lot of times they say Moors, this, and that, etc. We're not going to do that. We're not going to do that. We're not going to do that. We're just going to deal with the facts and the information and then get into the Anunnaki thing and just have a conversation to see, can we base things on reason? To see, can we say, did this happen? Because when people talk about the Codex Sinaiticus, and when they say things didn't happen in this and that and the other, I say, dude, you a lie. Because I have them all. I have every one. A scholar and an educator, no matter what color you are. I have a master's degree. I'm finishing my Jewish doctorate degree in Indigenous People Law and Policy. It's going to be things that we agree on as peer-reviewed scholarly research. As a scholar, that's just what it is. We're not basing our understanding on no propaganda. Like, for instance, let me see. Did my Empress put that up? Oh, man, where'd those go? I had something put out I want to show y'all. Let me see. Oh, here they go. When I be talking about things are pseudo and things, like this is the old text. You can't even see it. My book, I got my little background on. Ah, damn. But what I'm holding up in my hand, you probably can't see it. It's called the Old Testament Pseudographia. And when I be talking about things, and when I be talking about, dealing with science and dealing with reason, just like people be talking about, when I say, yes, the Bible deal with a little bit of the constellations, but all numbers are not right. I mean, look at a person that say they the number man. They the lotto man. They got this lucky number. Are they number always right based off they so-called stars or what they secret science they got or some secret wisdom they got? Absolutely freaking not. Absolutely not. And when we talk about the book of Barnabas, if it's valid, did the language match the time period, etc. What the scholars say in that time, things like that. So what I'm doing is giving you information so you can look at it as a person from wisdom, scholarship, giving you something to compare to make you say, especially when I get into the subject of that fake Anunnaki, and I already show you that that's the Iberian. I can show you all through history. The European scholar agree with me, professors, everyone. I've done this in college. That's why a person that really does this is not going to be popular. That's why that brother, we said Billy Carson was so easily destroyed. How? By a person that do that in real life. That's his profession. You don't have to be known on that. If we're talking about scholarship, it's going to be a vernacular. It's going to be a language. It's going to be a science. It's going to be some peer-reviewed scholarly research that we must agree on. If not, you a fake scholar. Especially if you're talking if you say you're a Christian scholar, because clearly when the brother was talking about the book of Sinai, I don't even think he know what Sinai really means. He just got destroyed when he said it. But I'm like, dude, like a lot of this stuff is stupid. But language, and I'm a stickler of linguistics, so it's only certain words that I'm gonna get you with that's not gonna match the time period that you're speaking of. So, and I'm not even gonna challenge or embarrass someone. I have a secret conversation with you, but I don't want to embarrass nobody unless you're that arrogant. But sometimes they say the Quran teaches that someone who looked like Jesus was crucified on the cross. They say some Muslims appeal to the Gospel of Barnabas as proof that the unknown looked like was Judas Iscariot. Now I'm not dissing Islam or nothing. We having a conversation. We can have a conversation. They did not slay him, neither crucify him. Only a likeness of what was shown to them. Quran 4:1-56. Quote me on that. Quote me on that. I know the Quran says some stuff like you can't hang around a person that's not a Muslim if they're a Christian or something, and they should be killed and all that. Do you believe that? They did not slay him, neither crucify him. There's only a likeness. That's Quran 4:1-56. Verily I say that the voice, the face, and the person of Judas were so like to Jesus that his disciples and believers entirely believe that was Jesus. Gospel of Barnabas, right? Now let's do some digging. Let's do some digging because we can agree to disagree if you're going to disagree on facts. But if you're going to disagree because you upset, don't nobody care about that. It takes an honorable person to say they don't know. It takes an honorable person to be corrected with things that can be proven. That's what this is about. That's what this is about. So the Gospel of Barnabas first appeared in, they say, Holland, 1709, written in Italian, excuse me, supplied with footnotes and a lot of broken Arabic per se. They say the sources of the gospel are unknown. The document is now preserved in the Imperial Museum in Vienna. Remember George Sales translated the Quran from Arabic into English 1734. In the preface, he mentions another copy of the same gospel in Spanish. The document, he say, is lost, and all we know about it is what Sales wrote. It says in a statement on the title page that it was translated, or this was a translation from the Italian by a Spanish Muslim named Mustafa de Aranda. Aranda is a town in Spain. It further mentions that the Italian text has been stolen by a monk from Marino from the Papal Library, while the Pope Sixtus V was having a nap. That's what the folk tale say. After reading it, Fra Marino became a Muslim. Since the time, Muslims have claimed that the Gospel of Barnabas is an authentic gospel, perhaps even the original one. That's what they say. But we're going to deal with some surah, we're going to deal with some things and just see what it says. In 1907, the Gospel of Barnabas was translated into English by Laura and Lonsdale Ragg. In the introduction, they provide internal and external evidence to the effect that the Gospel of Barnabas was a medieval forgery. Medieval forgery. Medieval times, Dark Ages, forgery. Since then, Arabic and Urdu, U-R-D-U, translations have been produced, all, however, without the introduction by Rags. Lieutenant Colonel M.A. Rahim, Pakistan, reprinted the Gospel of Barnabas in English in 1973, again omitting the introduction, but substituting another one written from the Islamic point of view. The Gospel of Barnabas has been extensively used by Muslims to determine that the Bible has been corrupted when measured against a gospel that was hidden away for nearly 2 millenniums. Needless to say that the Gospel of Barnabas largely confirms the teaching of Islam concerning Jesus. To believe that the Gospel of Barnabas is anything other than a 16th century fraud is an assault on common sense. Now, this is what I'm throwing back to the people. When you go to lectures and when you come to discussions, don't get all upset or say somebody didn't know. We're giving you things based off what a person says off your text. Things can be found. Interpretation, reason, understanding, this and that. What words mean. Clear sight. Now, let's deal with a little bit of the context of Barnabas. The entire Gospel of Barnabas endeavors to show the superiority of Muhammad over Jesus per se. Of the Gospel of Barnabas presents another gospel narrative, another record of life and ministry of Christ. On most doctrinal points, it differs widely from the accepted gospel account and in such a way that the Islamic version of Jesus is emphasized. Jesus Christ is neither the Son of God nor divine. He is rather the voice crying in the wilderness to prepare the way for the coming Messiah, Muhammad. In the Gospel of Barnabas, Christ is the Messiah, but assumes instead a role similar to that of John the Baptist in our Gospel account. John the Baptist is not mentioned in the Gospel of Barnabas. Consequently, the emphasis is the Gospel of Barnabas is on the coming of Muhammad, the Savior of the world, chapter 96 and 97. As might be expected, Christ was not crucified in agreement with the Surah 4:156, but instead Judas was killed in his place. During the period of his supposed arrest, Christ was hiding in a house in the Garden of Gethsemane, from where he was taken out by 4, now listen, archangels, a much later tradition or legend, through the window and ascended into the third of 7 heavens. Now let's deal with some text. Now, are y'all still with me? Now watch. And all we just doing is giving things for you can research and be like, well, if this is this and that, well, this can't be that. Or if this is that and that, it has to be this. Think about it. Think about it. So, but reason why a lot of scholars say that Barnabas is a forgery written in around 1585 AD, because a lot of times from research, evidence is supplied by the content of the book itself. Any writing is sure to bear the mark of a particular age, the style, language, subject matter. Just like when I was telling y'all the Willie Lynch ain't real, and the language, when I tell you black wasn't even used to describe ethnicity in first century, and if we're talking about a particular vernacular, and then we're looking at a certain area, what the vernacular was and how things were spelled in that time, you totally off. The style, language, and subject matter of the book will betray it. If someone brought you a film which he or she claimed to have been made in 1905 and started to screen it, and it looked every bit like an old film, old clothes, old fashioned this, you can believe it sometimes or be convinced. But in the middle of a scene, you saw something modern, you know, cell phones, you would say this film is fake. You would say it's a fabrication, you know? So then they say, here go irrefutable proof that the Gospel of Barnabas was written around 1585 AD. So for you educators, so you ones that want to compare and contrast and look at time periods and time and all that and see if things line up. Most suspicious, of course, is any mention of the name of Muhammad in chapter 44, 54, 112, 97, and 163, so on, etc. It is particularly suspicious since all the other evidence points to the fact that the whole of the Gospel of Barnabas is a medieval forgery. But other Islamic thought is also reflected in the Gospel of Barnabas. In chapter 54, the Italian text mentioned a denarius. Denarius. And before I even go over there, man, I'll just sum it up a little bit just to really start connecting. A lot of the stuff be coming from the Dante's Inferno. I'm talking about word for word. Y'all know what Dante's Inferno is, don't y'all? They be mad, man. I say, y'all, you so what? How mad you get? But stop the cap. All that space alien, all that going here, and then picking and choosing color over people. When a lot of people won't tell you that certain groups now be practicing Dianetics, that Ron Hubbard stuff, and I'm telling the truth. Because I'll pull some on here and they'll say it. That's why they ain't dealing with it no more. But in 54, the Italian text mentions a denarius, which is made up of 60 minuti, or minuti, or minuti, minuti. Denarius, denarius. These gold coins, y'all, were used only in Spain under Caliph Abdul Malik in 685 AD. See, this is how when a person be trying to, they only gonna talk that gibberish to a person that they know is not fully armored, and not just fully armored just because you know some or have some wisdom, but be able to explain in a certain way to where like, okay, this is what it is. Do it make you better or this, not another? No, but it is what it is. And if we're gonna write history, just write it. That's all. The Italian poet Dante lived about the time of the composition of the Gospel of Barnabas, 1265, 1321. And it's interesting to note a number of quotations from Dante's works in the Gospel of Barnabas. Just like I can show you in the Book of Mormon, you got a lot of stuff coming from the view of the Hebrews. There are many, and they can hardly be regarded as coincidences. The Gospel of Barnabas quotes Jesus as saying to Peter, "Know ye therefore that hell is one. Ye have 7 sinners, one below another. Hence, even as sin is of 7 kinds, for as 7 gates of hell has Satan generated it, so are 7 punishments therein." That's chapter 135. But this is exactly what Dante says in Cantos. Think about that now. In 5 and 6 of the Inferno, again, Barnabas says that God, having created the human senses, condemned them to hell and to intolerate snow and ice. That's why I'll be saying that Annunaki and all that fake stuff. The alien got the people here to mine gold. But to hell and to tolerate snow and ice, chapter 106, which corresponds with Cantos, 28 and 3 of the Inferno. Read it for yourself. The description of human sins and their returning at the end like a river to Satan, who is their source, is another indirect quotation from Dante's description of the river of hell. Similarly, the passages about the believers going to hell, not to be tortured, but to see the unbelievers in their torment. Recalls to mind Dante's pictures of the same. The differentiation between degrees of glory and the absence of all feuds and jealous in heaven are taken entirely from Dante's Paradise, Canto 3. Read it. But still stronger evidence that Barnabas quotes directly or indirectly from Dante is his description of the geography of heaven. There, Barnabas agrees with Dante and contradicts even the Quran itself. And contradicts even the Quran itself. How? Listen clearly. The Quran, Surah 2 and 29. I hope y'all write this down. Just read it for yourself. The Quran, Surah 2, 29, says that the heavens are 7 in number, while Barnabas gives the number as 9. Barnabas gives the number as 9. Chapter 178. Garner, page 1921. These few indications are sufficient evidence that the writer of the Gospel of Barnabas must have been acquainted with the writings of Dante and consequently must have lied or lived after Dante, or else been a contemporary of his. Just like when we talk about the Epic of Gilgamesh. When we're looking at things, when we be like, okay, this come from here, and then you see where this come from this, and then you talk about, it's just so much you have to talk about the cross reference to remove anger and things. You have to look at lineage if you're gonna say, well, this is this and this come from this, and then you don't, and then you miss the whole bloodline thing. If you want to use those for tools, not if nobody believe in it or not. That ain't what I'm here to convince. I'm dealing with the what's written, what's the facts. Now take it how you want. But he must have been acquainted with the writings or been a contemporary. You should like to observe that all quotations in the Gospel of Barnabas from the Old and the New Testament are taken from the Vulgate translation. The Vulgate translation. Approximately 380 AD, this Latin Bible has been used in the Catholic Church ever since. You know, and examples of the anachronism because the Gospel of Barnabas is supposed to date from before the Vulgate was written. But in chapter 91 and 92, we are told that Jesus and his disciples kept the 40 days. The context clearly shows that this refers to the period of Lent before Easter, celebrated by the church, but from a very much later period than the days of the early church. The church meditates at this time on the suffering of Christ per se. And I'm just giving you the story, which was obviously unknown when Christ was still alive. It had to be. Just use your, we just talking common sense. And common sense sometimes is just not that common no more. We find that Lent was Lent, was celebrated only from the 4th century AD onwards. Jesus, Yahshua, whatever you know, if you want to use the holy names, I'm with it. And his disciples are said to have gone for 40 days fast to Mount Sinai, which is some 450 kilometers away. There is no report in the New Testament to confirm this. For all my New Testament or ones that try to diss certain things and don't have a clear understanding, in chapter 3 of the Gospel of Barnabas, the birth of Christ is described as having painless. Now, this belief was not current in the church before Thomas Aquinas died in 1278, but is mentioned in Surah 1923. All you got to do is look at the information that you have. Just look at the information that I'm giving you, and you can make a judgment on your own. Now, if you're going to arbitrarily explain what you're trying to do, then that's on you. Not before the 4th century AD was the title Virgin given to Mary, yet it appears in the Gospel of Barnabas. Origen, Origen, AD 184-254, was the first scholar to assume that Mount Tabor was the Mount of Transfiguration. And I'm just saying from what research be giving you. I got more though. The Bible does not confirm this. The Christian tradition that it was Mount Moriah being only in the 3rd century and yet the Gospel of Barnabas contains this information. Think about this now. From the facts that you get, the Gospel of Barnabas mentions 4 archangels, which is also a tradition of the church that dated from the early medieval period. Why? Okay, in chapter 82, it mentioned it's made of the years of Jubilee, which now cometh what? This is what they say, every 100 years. But remember, the year of Jubilee, according to the Old Testament, was what? Every what? 50 year. After seven, excuse me, after 7 times 7 years. The origin of this faulty information is also follows. In the year AD 1300, Pope Boniface the Eighth instituted the Jubilee as a centenary event, owing to its financial success. You know, the financial success. However, Pope Clement, you know, the sixth, reversed Boniface's decision and declared the next Jubilee in 1350. This was thus the only time that the year of Jubilee was indeed as a centenary occasion. It never was in practice. Eve is said to have eaten an apple in paradise, chapter 40 and 41. Now, let's just deal with facts instead of making things up, because facts are stubborn, but they can defend themselves like a lion. We are well aware that Eve ate an unspecified fruit, but the belief that that was an apple dates from a very much later date, and everybody know it. But another proof of the Gospel of Barnabas is a medieval in origin is that we have a report, chapter 99, of a duel between 2 rival lovers. The type of chivalry was a creation of medieval society. When you research this stuff, in chapter 39, Adam sees bright writings, and the content is none other than the Kalima. There is only one God, and Muhammad is the messenger of God. The Kalima is an Arabic word which has found its way to other languages of Muslim people. It refers to the declaration which brings a person into the fold of Islam. Anyone who wishes to be a Muslim must declare that he or she believes in the oneness of Allah and in the Prophet as Allah's messenger, peace be among them. But it's also some factual errors of history, geography, and violation of what? Common sense. Are y'all still with me? Because I'm giving a lecture. And that's when I tell people, when people begin talking to me and I say, have you ever been to a lecture? I said, if you really know me, and if you was in Arizona and you came to one of my lectures, you would be shaking my hand, just like when you be watching Dr. Ben or John Henry Clark or Ivan Van Sertima or Sheikh Anna Diop or Amos Wilson or who, Dick Gregory or Bobby Hemmett or whoever you like, you know, Khalid Muhammad, whoever. That's all. So let me warm up my tea. Give me 1 second, and we're gonna get right back to the teaching. I have to take a look. We haven't even got into the main topic yet, man, which is good. That's why I said, man, I love being able to go see my clients, man, and peace Nova Brian, and be able to make my own schedule, and just it's a lot of work that need to be done. But I told y'all, just like I have colleagues that's melanated, a little melanation, etc. And the truth is the truth, and I don't come from no biasness. But I told y'all, falseness is going to be destroyed with truth, no matter who's going to bring it. No one that's coming with propaganda or some alien stuff is going to prove something wrong. They don't have no proof. And no matter if you believe in certain things or not, I'm saying use things for tools to get understanding. When someone coming with that crap, especially when they quote in the book of Barnabas and all this as references. I'm telling you, you have to discredit everything, because anybody coming with that, they're going to talk about that alien stuff. They're going to talk about that Anunnaki stuff. They're going to talk that Zachariah Stinson crap. You know, that's what they're gonna be talking about. That's what they're gonna be talking about. All that pseudo stuff, all that William Cooper. That's what they Zachariah Stinson talking about some aliens and stuff and on welfare and don't know who they are. But talk about some aliens, like really, like really that, and people really rock with that, and then people make up to act like they got all these different letters and alphabets behind their name. Really. So let's proceed. We got a little bit more. But when even an elementary reader of the Gospel of Barnabas finds Nazarene on the shore of Lake Galilee, chapter 20, whereas it is a town miles away from the lake, surrounded by mountains. In the next chapter, we see Jesus going up to Capernaum, whereas Capernaum is situated right on the shore of the lake. Think about it. In chapter 151, we are told that Jesus embarked on a ship from Nazareth. And next you read that he arrived in Jerusalem. You might as well ask whether this was also done by boat. We are further informed that a certain dispute would have ended in war, but the Romans assembled 3 armies, each numbering 200 men, at Misiph, chapter 91. The entire Roman army at that time numbered only 300,000. However, if people want to use references, well, the Encyclopedia Britannica, according to the Gospel of Barnabas, Jesus was born when Pilate was governor, right? Right? Okay. But in fact, he only became governor between AD 26 and 27. But in chapter 145 of the Gospel of Barnabas, Pharisees date back as far as the time of Elijah, and there were supposed to have been 17,000 in fact. History first knows about Pharisees 7 centuries later, in the period between 135 and 104 BC. Just look at the history and what you have, and remove your feelings and see what you come up with. We find it highly suspicious and wrong to read that the Torah was written by an Ishmaelite, chapter 192. I'm just giving the information. What when a person defending things, they say, and I say, well, what context are you saying? What are you using to defend? Like, what are you doing, or what are we trying to do with a certain information? Are you trying to make it this or that or what? You informed that the soldiers were rolled out of the temple in 152 as one rolls casks of wood when they are washed to refill them with wine. But y'all got to remember, wooden barrels were invented 2,000 years ago in Gaul, but were not used in the East in the New Testament times. Remember? Because wine and other liquids were stored in skins. Am I right about what I'm saying? Think about it. Some other things just to look at. In chapter 6, another interesting comment area is found. It speaks here of the 3 magi, or wise men coming from the east. The New Testament does not specify the number. We make that up, but gives a list of 3 gifts that were brought by the magi. The magi brought 3 gifts. The magi brought 3 gifts, namely gold, myrrh, frankincense. And this later led to the assumption that there were 3 wise men from the east. But this belief certainly does not derive from the New Testament. It don't even add up. Especially when they try to say, well, the New Testament. I say, well, we can get the New Testament, but all you're going to do is prove that it ain't there. And I mean no disrespect. Think about it. In the Gospel, Barnabas chapter 1, Barnabas is called an apostle. You know, Barnabas is referred to as an apostle. Acts 14, 4 and 14. But the Gospel of Barnabas concept is quite different. The conversation of Barnabas took place after the day of Pentecost, and consequently, he, based off text, don't qualify apostleship as outlined in Acts 1, 21 and 22, and bearing in mind 1 Corinthians 15 and 8, 9, 1 and 2, 1 and 1, Romans 1 and 1. Jesus Joshua drew near to the priest. High priest with reverence, you know. So it's so much, you know. In chapter 222, the last chapter of the Gospel of Barnabas, you know, Islam or make my day, seek new video you post. I'm all ears. Islam, noble. In chapter 22 of the Gospel of Barnabas, we read, after Jesus had departed, after having been raised from his hiding place through the window of the house of the Garden of Gethsemane, the disciples scattered through the different parts of Israel and of the world, and the truth, hated of Satan, was persecuted. And it always is by falsehood. Always by falsehood. For certain evil men pretending to be disciples preach that Jesus died and rose not again. Others preach that he really died but rose again. Others preach and yet preach that Jesus is the Son of God, among whom is Paul deceived. The Gospel of Barnabas endeavors to correct preceding Gospel of Paul. We wish to ask the question, when and how was the writer aware that the disciples had scattered throughout the different parts of the world? This question is left open, but easily answered by us, for we believe that it is yet another anachronism, because in chapter 97, Muhammad is clearly called the Messiah. No disrespect to no one. The Quran, as well as the Bible, confers this title to Jesus, because in the Quran, it talks about Jesus way more than Muhammad. Ask anybody. Ask anybody. Ask any scholar. That is getting you twisted on man-made stuff. And if it's not man-made, then how are you coming up with different interpretations? Especially from the slave aspect. But the Quran, as well as the Bible, confers this title on Jesus. It is somehow strange to realize that the introduction of the Gospel of Barnabas, Jesus is called Christ. And in chapter 42 and 82, Barnabas denies that Jesus is the Messiah. Only a theologically very ignorant person could have made such statements, because Christos is the Greek word for the Hebrew Messiah. In chapter 80 of the Gospel of Barnabas, you find a story about Daniel, which has it that he was taken captive by Nebuchadnezzar while he was yet 2 years old. This statement, it will be observed, is incompatible with what may be inferred from the Bible narrative. According to the latter, it was in the second year of his reign that Nebuchadnezzar had his famous dream, which Daniel interpreted. The king gave Daniel high honors and many gifts, and made him ruler over the wide province of Babylon, and chief prefect over all the wise men of Babylon. That's Daniel 2 and 48. Now, if you suppose that Nebuchadnezzar captured Daniel in the first year of his reign, the earliest possible date which could be assigned to Daniel's captivity, and that, according to Barnabas, Daniel was then 2 years old. It will follow then that in the second year of Nebuchadnezzar's reign, Daniel was only 3 years old. Think about it, time period and dates. Daniel was in fact born in 621 BC, and the captivity began in 605 BC. So he was 16 years old when taken prisoner, just based off the information that you have at hand. If you being honest with coming up with a conclusion, you know, Jesus prayed 5 times a day according to the Gospel of Barnabas, and all the Muslim prayed, and all the Muslim prayer time are mentioned. Now, when I talk about, I don't have a problem with nobody doing that 5 times. We know about tradition, but that's not law. You know, when I talk about the Al Salat, but it's no disrespect to no one else. But this Islamic concept of the book is found in chapter 10, where we read that the angel Gabriel presented to Jesus as it were a shining mirror, a book which descended into the heart of Jesus, the corresponding very well with Surahs 549 and Surah 2 and 97. You read that Ishmael was offered on the altar by Abraham, chapter 44. This clearly an Islamic concept. No disrespect. God is said to be the God of Abraham, Ishmael, and Isaac. In chapter 2:12, it should read according to the Old Testament, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. So I just wanted to give that little title as we get into this. So gratitude everybody for being patient with me. Let's see. What I got it. Yeah, man. That was an hour bill. Holy smacks. But I wanna give a little bit. I just have to highlight this because, like I said, I hope I'm enlightening you, brothers and sisters. And this little time that I have free, I hope it's important to you. And I give gratitude for y'all being here. And thank you for the kind words, Melodic Mystic. Imagine someone claimed to find a new surah in the Muslim Quran. But however, the earliest copy was not in Arabic, nor in the language of the Bible, but in Italian in the Middle Ages. Imagine there were things in the surah that contradicted what was in the rest of the Quran, as well as the Bible. Imagine that it also contained historical errors, as implied in that people in Muhammad's time lived the same way, no disrespect, Europeans lived during the so-called Middle Ages. You might have some questions, to say the least. What is the evidence, if any, authenticity and chain of transmission? Why should it not be rejected, just as other historically late, fanciful hadiths and other alleged writings of Muhammad are rejected? The rest of this synopsis gives the precise reasons why all Orthodox Muslims and Christians should agree that the Gospel of Barnabas is a medieval forgery. And this is just, different backgrounds. And, when I have discussions with people that have reason and understanding and not coming from a biased place, that's why when I say I teach more science, I'm not coming from no biased place. I have understanding of everything. I give honor. That's why I said I'm a spiritual being, or what they like to say in the ancient times, a high priest. And it's no disrespect. But the Gospel of Barnabas is known only in Italian, and no ancient writer ever referred to it. It mentions things that were not used until centuries later. And what I'm saying, the time period of when you injected something don't match. Now, did we say it happened time later? Could have, when we deal with certain things. But of course, when we putting things in proper context and proper, how can I say it, dispensations and time periods, we have to make it fit. Furthermore, other gospel forgeries written in Arabic were also found in Granada. They were discovered after 1588. And the forgers, they tried to say, were some Moors. That's what they say. But we'll deal with that in a whole nother teaching. But it's a lot of things that we could talk about on that particular topic. Remember, I told y'all about historical anachronisms and what that is. When I talk about historical problems, mention, no disrespect, European things of the Middle Ages, which are out of place in Jesus, Yahshua's time. So it's so much general errors when we talk about sailing to inland cities. The mistakes demonstrate the author knew very little about the geography and history of Palestine. You know, when, for instance, Jesus went to the Sea of Galilee, and having embarked in a ship, sailed to his city of Nazareth. Chapter 20, page 41. Nazareth is inland. You know, it's so much. It's just so much that I can just fact check from no disrespect. Some other differences with the Quran. These, when people say contradictions, or I say things that you have to look at, because I'm not going to say nothing is a contradiction. When you have reason, you can look at things and say, okay, well, this is this. Things are put there for you to have an eye to be able to put it together, not to diss anything. Why? Because those things are there for you as keys, as learning lessons. Like in martial arts, if you're going, like I'm an old kung fu head, I love old martial art movies. When you're going through your disciplines, like on one of the kung fu movies, it's called Great Cavalier, and at the end, he's going through all these different like training rituals where he's going through these tunnels, fighting all these wooden dummies and things. He's not upset at that. That is a training lesson. So you take those things that you may think negative and take those things and overcome those things and say, yes, we get that, but this is what it's saying. You know, which comes from having discussion. You know, like contradiction both the Bible and the Quran. The Quran. Jesus is not the Messiah. You know, Jesus is called the Messiah, Christ in Surah 575, 517, a whole bunch of other ones, 3 and 45, 4 157 and 171 and 172, Surah 9 and 30. The Messiah is Muhammad, chapter 97, page 225 and 227. A prophet's word are only to the people they were sent to. Surah 4 150. 151 says not to separate between messengers. You know, Ishmael was the ancestor of the Messiah. You know, chapter 190, page 425. Chapter 191, page 407. You know, some differences with the Bible. Jesus is a voice in the wilderness. Angels rolled the soldiers away for Jesus. Muhammad is coming. Chapter 44, page 105. Angels rode the soldiers away for Jesus. Chapter 153, page 355. Jesus is a voice in the wilderness. Chapter 42, page 97. I'm just showing you some science, some differences with the Quran. These contradictions or how can I say things that need to be looked at with the Quran or unusual teachings not present in the Quran also might make Muslims wary of appealing to the gospel. Faithful Muslims who do not have works will be in hell for 70,000 years. Chapter 173, page 319. Muhammad will go to hell and be terrified as he beholds the punishment of others. Chapter 135, page 315. Mary gave birth to Jesus without pain. Chapter 3, page 9. Unlawful to hate anything except sin. Chapter 86, page 199. God is the Father. Chapter 133, page 307. God is our Father. No sons, though. Chapter 17, page 31 and 33. There shall be no envy in heaven. Excuse me. Chapter 177, page 401. Jesus would sleep in like a manner, aka die, and be speedily awakened. Chapter 193. Wept not, for Lazarus sleeps, and I am come to awaken him. The Pharisees said among themselves, would to God that you did so sleep. Then Jesus said, my hour is not yet come, but when it shall come, I shall sleep in like manner, and shall be speedily awakened. Then Jesus said again, take away the stone from the sepulchre. And Martha, Lord, he stinks, for he has been dead for days. Jesus said, why then am I come hither? Martha, believe you not in me that I shall awaken them. And it's general errors that I broke down, historical acronyms. We were talking about coins, where up on that food was going down. It's just so many things. I want you to look at that. And when you look at the time period and things, an Italian printer named Arrivabene or Arrivabani or Arrivabene, Arrivabene, around 1547, published the first Italian translation of that Quran. The writer of the Gospel of Barnabas was not well versed in biblical history, nor in Orthodox Muslim theology, but apparently he or her very knowledgeable of, no disrespect again, European medieval customs. The Italian of the Gospel of Barnabas had evidence of both Vietnam and Tuscan dialects, Latin spellings showing Latin Vulgate influence, which I told y'all. It's influence of, like I told y'all earlier, Dante's works. I'm just giving you bullets before I get into the main topic. We on good time. And remember, it were Arabic notes in the margin. You know, they were not written by Orthodox Muslims. You know, no disrespect. No disrespect to no one. So let's get into this topic at hand, because this is a good topic. Somebody, yeah, I'm gonna read the email. He said I can't. So he says, Sheik, I've been following you for years, and he was like, it's sad that all these social medias and all this stuff is all like, he was like fake, and he was like payola. He was like, all this stuff is payola, and I said, I told you that. I said, a lot of things that's gonna be good for you is not gonna be promulgated, especially when someone say they have some secret this or some special type of knowledge that you can't have. You know. Oh, really? Oh, I was tripping. Oh, Lord. Yeah, this thing tripping. My document won't come up. Oh, they knew I was finna get in. They know I was finna get up in that. I don't know what's happening with. Let me see. Let me check something. Hold on, family. But how everybody feel about that? But as I'm checking something, nobody checks these people on these certain programs that say that they experts in things. Nobody checks these people, but they go on all these so-called podcasts and all these things and speak on all these different platforms, no matter if it's a person saying they can get you this or they dealing with this or multi-level marketing or when they was in Black Wall Street. It's a dude called JT Pocket Watchers, and he talked about them all. And this, and that, and the other, and they do this and all that, and some special this. And I say, okay, but that's not even real. And a lot of things, a lot of misnomer Black people go to is pageantry. You know, it's pageantry. Like when people waste their time, no disrespect, when they say they don't have nothing, to be talking about some aliens and some Annunaki and not even understanding who you are. Because all that stuff is no disrespect. It's some Dianetics, some Ron L. Hubbard stuff, all or some Zachariah Stinson. And that Anunnaki, that Zachariah Stinson stuff has been proven pseudo by his own colleagues in his own time period. And there's no disrespect to no one. And then we bring those things back in our community and try to throw them out as valid. And then people try to defend those things and say, well, he was just quoting other people what they were saying. And I say, well, why would you be quoting stuff what other people saying, putting them in books and selling millions of them if it's not real? You should have said that it was fiction. You know? What do we think about that? What do we think about that? You know, these things can be proven, you know, and when we speak of things, I don't know why something it's just not working at this moment, but oh well, maybe. Hold on. No, it's just not working at this moment. From some reason, I don't know why. Strange. Strange. That's strange. But yeah, when we take things, remember I always said people that know like certain truth per se, and especially when they see that you would bring certain things to a group of people that you really think low about, they would team up with you to make them look a fool, make you successful, and then when you challenge them, use the truth to knock you so far off your pedestal. Because the fall of grace, when you get so high, is so far. It's kind of hard to come. It's kind of hard to come back from because then it's so much ego. It's so much other things that's attached to that, and then that person is going to start telling you exactly their mission. And I told people, I said, this is no disrespect. It's all gonna happen. I mean, a clean glass next to a dirty glass can't happen. All that Black Wall Street stuff, everything JT Pocket Watch was talking about, when everybody was getting on there talking about they do these houses and this multi-level marketing, and then all these group of brothers that say they in the conscious community come together and say they're gonna do all this. And I don't know who that is. I don't know who that is. I don't even know, bro. I'm sorry, y'all. I got a lot going on, but it's very hard to comprehend that. And I just want brothers and sisters input on these particular topics because uh, Anunnaki is no alien nowhere, and the tablets prove that. It don't prove no alien. It don't prove none of that. Now, when you look at it, when you research the word Anunnaki and the etymology and the etymon and the origin, is going to tell you a special type of bloodline. But it's damn sure it's no alien. And then uh, I have to go on my phone. My phone is acting crazy right now, so I can't go into it. I don't know what's going on. But anyway, it's a Greek restaurant not too far up the street from me. And when my muftis come in town, I took them there. I frequented a lot. And the people from there, some of them from Russia. One of them said that he was from Pakistan, but whatever. And we talk, we communicate. I met his dad, and showed me around everything. And he got big, like almost like big clay paintings on the wall. It looked like the tablets. And so me and my mufti's there, and I'm like, "Who is this?" I said, "What is these aliens? Ain't Anunnaki?" He laughed because I'm dressed like what's on the wall. He like, "You know what that is?" He like, "That's you, the Iberian, the Moor." I said, "Absolutely." He said, "Why do people think that's some Anunnaki and some alien?" I said, "You tell me." He said, "Oh, that's that pseudo stuff." I said, "But we know true history, Sheik, and these are other people that we wouldn't even talk to, but understanding true history. Why? Because it's written. It's in the wall. It's no alien. It's none of that. That Zachariah Stitcher stuff, all that stuff is fake. You know, no disrespect to a lot of them. People be grabbing on even William Cooper, all that alien stuff, all that pseudo stuff. No disrespect. It's like, man, it's no alien. That's the Iberian. That's the ancient Iberian. And these are facts. These are facts. So why are we going to let this stuff keep going? And that's what I'll be saying when people be dealing with characters and quoting things and getting so caught up trying to disprove things or discredit things. Because a real person, if you've been proven wrong from the facts, will say, you know what? from the facts that's been gathered, a lot of what I'm saying has been proven wrong, especially if I'm using the book of Barnabas for reference to debate or to debunk anything, especially to say certain things didn't happen in this and that biblically when a person said they read something and have no clue, especially of the Codex Sinaiticus. And I'm not saying what's right or wrong, but I'm saying based off the information that you can get and gather and have and sit down and come with a outcome based off the facts, you have to deal with that in that particular fashion. That that that's what scholarship is all about. Do anybody agree with what I'm saying? I'm just having technical difficulties, so I had to. I can't get here it go. Yeah, they was tripping on me, y'all. They was acting like they ain't want me to get into. Acting like they ain't want me to get. They ain't want me to get it into this. Let me see. I don't think they want me to get into this, y'all, because I was talking to another colleague and he was like, "Man, but where do people get this?" And he was like, "Why do people quote these things that clearly is?" And I said, "Ask those. Ask those." You know, and that's where I said, "There's nothing here. What we teach is biasness, because it got to be a reason of Eurocentric and Negrocentric propaganda." And then a person say, "None, you can't challenge things with the truth." Why not? Then what the law for? You know? Then what's the law for? You know, y'all? Then what's the law for? If we're gonna use things for correction, then what? If we're gonna use history and things, and when we talk about Zachariah Stitcher and some Anunnaki and some aliens and this is what the tablets mean and this and that and the other, and then when you can clearly start dealing with things and dealing with time period, a person say, "Well, that ain't his words. He's quoting other scholars in this time or wherever he got it from." Then what I'm saying is everything he's getting is wrong. You know? You know? Think about it. No disrespect. And that's where what you call it say? Let me see. That's where my man Mold 9, he said Billy got exposed by the wake up call. And I be asking when people be coming to me, just like I don't have so many of those new thinkers or whatever, hidden history people come on, especially even the Muslims with that spaceship stuff. And I say, and I'll be like, what, Dianetics? And then they get mad. I say that Ron L. Hubbard stuff. But anyway, when I be saying, I'll be like, okay, that's what that person is promulgating. You coming with a person, no disrespect. So I'm just referencing what the brother put up here because I guess it's what's popping. The brother Carson dude, he would talk about the Anunnaki and some alien and quote the book of Barnabas. But then when I show you, forget what he talking about. I'll take it all the way back to Zachariah Stinson. I'll take it all the way back to William Cooper, all that fake Anunnaki stuff, all that low-level Freemason stuff, to where I tell you that where them Negroes get that stuff from. And then they bring all that nonsense and bring it back to you and I. Why? Because they think we stupid. And then they only deal with those people that's this new age thinking thing, or this and that and the other, or etc. But as you see, and as everybody saw, that so-called brother with that new age thinking got destroyed by that brother that was the European Christian. You know, with all respect and love. You know, just giving the science and just breaking it down and making it plain. Like, okay, here, you can agree to disagree, but when you're dealing with the facts of the matter, you got to deal with it. And then from what a person was sending me, because we had a long conversation, they was telling me about this. So correct me if I'm wrong. I'm not even going to spend too much time on it. Then that person is trying to cover his tracks, talking about justify their actions, why they did some things, and why this did that, and act like they being. I said, man, this stuff is a whole joke. This is like a soap opera. Like, it's so goofy. And especially anytime a person, and I told people this a long time ago, Beware of anybody say they got some secret this. Beware of somebody selling some secret pill. Beware of somebody coming with this alien stuff. Beware of people putting all these extra names behind themselves and you can't find it nowhere. They the CEO of this company in May 28 you can't find it nowhere. They say they graduated from Harvard, but then you can't find it nowhere. And then they say it's a certificate. Then they say it's a damn piece of paper you can get on the internet. If I say I'm a scholar and I graduated from Clear University with a dual bachelor degree in business management with a minor in marketing and sales and nonprofit business startup, you damn sure can look me up in the archives of Clear University. That won't take you none but a second. If I said I got my dual master's degree from Grand Canyon University in first century history and Christian leadership and linguistics, you can look me up. Where? In the GCU archives of graduates. Point blank. If I'm saying I'm going to get a doctorate degree from a certain institution, you can look me up, especially if I say I graduated from there. Point blank. And when people be doing these things, I'm like, okay, so you're trying to put these letters behind your name to make you inferior, to make you better? Because it don't. Just like my degrees don't make me better. What it does, if I have an understanding, I should have went in those endeavors and been able to pull out things and then put it back in people's face and then come from science and say what it is and what it's not from scholarship as I'm doing. So let's deal with a little bit of this. And I'm a freestyle a little bit, but I got my little piece of paper right here, so I just come how I come. But the Anunnaki, as they portrayed in books and television and things, is connected to Zachariah Stitchin. And then in the conscious community, I remember it was a bald-headed dude with hair on his head, and I remember he was quoting Zachariah Stitchin. And way back then, somebody hit me up, was like, man, didn't you lecture that on the college campus? Was saying how people take all this stuff for science and it'd be pseudo, and then they try to this, that, and the other, but they use it for reference. Just like some of those misnomer black people was talking about Willie Lynch. And I was like, Willie Lynch is not even real. And then they were talking about roots, and I showed you Alex Haley plagiarized roots from a European named Harold Colander. Plagiarized it from a book called The African from Harold Colander. All that stuff fake. How? To promulgate that straight out of Africa slavery stuff. All fake. Propaganda. Fact check me if you're wrong. And then if anybody that say they're an educator or a scholar or some black conscious stuff and they come to you with some Willie Lynch theory, we can have a educated, a scholarly discussion on that, and I'll show you the language wrong, the time period wrong. None of that even lines up from scholarship, and we can throw that out the window too. So everybody that talk about some Willie Lynch, you can ask them, what, you didn't know this? For everybody that talk about some Kunta Kinte, they ancestors, we can say that Alex Haley lied, got sued, and he plagiarized that from a European named Harold Colander, a book called The African, and that's propaganda to promulgate that slavery stuff. Big facts. And it ain't no disrespect. Zachariah Stitchin's Earth Chronicles. He had a book series pointing out that Stitchin's version of the Anunnaki appeared nowhere in the ancient Sumerian literature. Because I have I can show you, I can give you the whole Sumerian literature. I have it all. All this stuff in my academic endeavors. I used to stay in the doctoral library. Man, I did just like Google did. I copied, compiled, and so many books to PDFs just like Google did. Google spent $25 million on it. I didn't have to do that. I would just introduce, and I talked to professors, and I wrote librarians. I wrote Oxford. I wrote Cambridge. Asked them to be introduced to their library when I was in school. I wrote all these other Gnostic libraries and things. I started writing professors and things. A lot of these people are old, and a lot of the ancient manuscripts and books that they have, their children don't want them. They give them to me, or they give them to the Goodwill, and I go to the Goodwill and get them. I'm telling you what I know. I have a whole database of names and information. This is my life. But since the publication of the original article, there have been requests for more background descriptions between what the Sumerian texts actually say, and Stitchin's personal translations, which supposedly occurred in 1970, But I'm trying to tell you why you should look at things with an eye. So let's deal with it a little bit. There are the whole central to Annunnaki's theory is a group of alien beings known as the Anunnaki, who he claimed crossed their own DNA. And I showed you in the Negro question. Oh man, my Empress put all that stuff up. Damn. I'll show y'all another day. It's in the Negro question. I think it's volume 4. I showed y'all what's all on the wall. I showed y'all this. Everyone should be like, yeah, you right, Sheik. And I'm like, I know. It's already been proved. It ain't no aliens. It's already been proved. Those documents and everything have been proved exactly who they are from the time period. Tells a biblical story on the wall. Big facts. Big facts. And no one can deny this. The scholars have said it. In the first centuries, I've said it. I said that. I gave the information and all damn near 20 first century writers that confirm what I'm saying. You know? But he claimed they crossed their own DNA with the Homo erectus in order to create mankind for the purpose of using humans as slaves to mine gold and other minerals. Today, the Anunnaki are often portrayed as in literature as scientific equivalent to the creation of the human race as portrayed in numerous religions. The Anunnaki means princely seed or princely royal blood. That's it. But Stitchen's translation of Anunnaki as those who from heaven came is in itself an error or was completely fabricated. And all modern translations of the term in the fashion are merely relying on Stitchen's own publication. Think about this. Scholars are free to search the entire spectrum of the Samaritan literature. At the electronic text is called the corpus of the Sumerian literature to test any of the terms referenced by Stitchens or the present a scholar or writers or any other people that write articles or anything what I'm saying. Man, like it's pictures. I don't know if y'all can see these pictures. I need to take my background off. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna take my background off. Hold on, because I want you to see these pictures. Because I'm gonna go ahead and that's what I'll do because this is gonna be important. And the background is just messing up the picture. So I gotta take that off. Maybe you can see this now. So I'm gonna show y'all some pictures. I don't know if y'all can see that. If y'all can see those little characters right there. 4 of them. When I start showing you things, that the Iberian things, you're gonna be like, they all look the same. And I'll be like, yeah. So let's deal with a little fact checking as we deal with this, and it won't take long. And anything you want to add, please do. But the 4 copper alloy statues dating to circa 2030 BC depicting 4 ancient Mesopotamian gods wearing characteristic horn crowns. Now you remember crowns. That wasn't no alien stuff. And they like, oh, they got those. Okay. Now, in the wake of popular reception of Stitchen's books, a plethora of popular media have followed the lead in claiming that the Samaritan literature portrays the Anunnaki as a group of alien beings who descended to the earth in flying vehicles, in spacesuits, and paraphernalia. There is no such depiction on the Anunnaki in the Samaritan text. That's number 1. That's number 1. In fact, y'all, the closest match to these portrayals is a description of the Anunna, the Anunna, the god deities, whom An, A-N, or A-N-U, conceived in the sky. You know? The Anunnaki are never depicted as an alien space god in the Samaritan art and iconography, and those symbols which Stitchen's legacy has led many to believe represent them actually refer to other deities. For instance, the winged disc and the crescent, which proliferate so much Samaritan iconography, actually represent specific solar and lunar deities, not the Anunnaki. Like I'm showing y'all pictures. So I want you to, but your own people will come with that propaganda. Because why? They don't mind no Negro coming with that crap. Excuse my candor. So the first millennium seal showing a worshiper and a fish garbed sage before a style tree with a crescent moon and winged disc set above it. Behind this group is another platform with a radiant star, the star cluster, Pleiades cluster. You know, that's what that is. Excuse me, of what you just want to show you pictures of things when you start looking at things. So we got to do this work. It's not hard. Uh, Regarding the subject of ancient divinities, mining gold, it may surprise many students or truth seekers to learn that Stitchen himself never provided a textual reference from the Sumerian corpus to support the theory. And so this is the stuff that the so-called brother tried to come up with. This is what they be using, y'all. I'll be telling you. And they be trying to defend this. That's how they can easily get destroyed. See, I'll be telling y'all, like, I come from, because if that's a lie, then what they saying gotta be a lie. Why? Because the stuff where you getting it from is a lie. Think about it now, which has gained incredible popularity. A search of the instance of gold and found in the electric text corpus of the Samaritan literature fails to find any reference to ancient gods mining gold. I told you. In the 12th planet, Stitchen claims that Bel Nimiki and exalted of Ah should be translated Lord of Mining. However, there is no justification for this translation. I won't even call it translation. I'll say a mistransliteration or replacement. And neither do any of the portrayals of Ah, the Ea, the Ah, in the Sumerian text associate him with lordship over ancient gold mines. In reality, the Ah or the Ah is routinely associated with wisdom or knowledge, providing further grounds for the common translation of Bel Niminiki as meaning Lord of Wisdom, Lord of Wisdom, Lord of Wisdom. That's that's the so-called. We're gonna deal with this. The Inki or the Aniki or the Ah from the Ada seal, the Sumerian corpus, nowhere states that the creation. Oh snap! Let me hold on, y'all. That's why it was doing that. I was avoiding my battery. It was like I'm dying, I'm dying. All right, let's deal with it. Now we good, family. Woo! But the Sumerian corpus nowhere states that the creation of the Adama, the Adamah, or mankind was done so that humanity could serve as a slave species to mine gold. And it certainly does not depict an Anunnaki scientist crossing alien DNA with primates. The Samaritan literature plainly tells the story of humanity being created by the gods to assist in the process of creation itself. As humans multiplied and grew to noisome, the gods became annoyed and sent a great deluge to wipe them out. The cuneiform has that one man was instructed to build a boat, and he and his family and the selected animals were saved from the 7 days and 7 nights of rain caused by the flood. And I'm just giving you the story. We doing good. If y'all still with me, talk to me. I might have to get another water. We on good time. But according to Stitchen, the purpose of obtaining gold from the Earth was to save planet Nubro, a planet from beyond Pluto, which travels through our solar system. Now come on, y'all. Every 3,600 years, right? But when you deal with people like myself and others, and deal with the Hebrew and ancient Semitic language or Paleo, all these things, it's professors that can fact check, and deal with it. You know, it's a professor named Michael Heiser. He a PhD, University of Wisconsin Madison. Peace. Written a paper on the subject of Nibiru or Nibiru, Nibru. You know how y'all aliens, Anunnaki theories be coming with that Eurocentric and Negrocentric propaganda. So, as it actually appears in cuneiform text, which illustrates the actual ancient context and usages of the terms considerably, drawing on the work of several experts, including esteemed Sumerian scholar Benino Landsberger, and also utilizing the Chicago Assyrian Dictionary. Hisser analyzed, and myself, I had the pleasure to do this, all of the known cuneiform texts that mention Nibiru. He found, and I also found, in fact, and was able to see it for myself, that the term is only used in astronomical or deficit context to refer to four subjects: the planet Jupiter, the planet Mercury, and the god Marduk, and a star, while acknowledging that the fourfold application of the word does cause some confusion among scholars. Because Hisser points out, and also when you see things, that one thing is certain from the text: Nibiru is never identified as a planet beyond Pluto. Think about what I'm saying now. Here sums up that Nibiru date from the ancient text contradicting it contradicts stitching in 6 points. Nibiru is called a star. Nibiru is called a planet, nearly always Jupiter, Marduk, but one Mercury, and never anything beyond Pluto or the known planets. The Sumerians, by their own record, knew of only 5 planets and accepted the sun and the moon as planets. Nibiru is never mentioned in any respect with the Anunnaki. It is never said to have been or be inhabited. Nibiru is both a fixed star and some relationship to constellations, whether a member or just in proximity, is unknown, that holds them in their courses, but it also describes as changing points and crossing the sky at times. 6. Nibiru was seen every year, which demolishes Stitchen's view of a 3,600-year cycle for it. Think about it. Stitchen claims that the Samaritans had extensive knowledge of the solar system and compatible with the system of cosmo and astronomy recorded by the Samaritans themselves. While the texts do associate particular planets with certain deities, the cuneiform never actually mentions more than 7 planetary bodies, counting the sun and moon. You see how somebody's stuff can be destroyed when people be backing up a lie with that Anunnaki alien stuff? We know where they got this from. How? The lower level Freemasonry, that Zachariah Stitch and stuff. No disrespect. That's that William Cooper stuff. That's that alien stuff. That's that lower level Freemasonry stuff. That's that Ron Hubbard stuff. No disrespect. And a lot of Islam Muslims talk that spaceship stuff. The cuneiform never actually mentioned more than 7 planetary bodies, counting the sun and the moon. For example, the 2 parallelism tables, the raising of 36 fixed stars, as well as the past of Venus, Jupiter, Mars, Saturn, Mercury, the sun, the moon. When I show you other plates, because y'all can see those, people will be coming up with just asinine stuff. That's the cylinder seal, number VA243, used as evidence by Stitchen. Okay, so let's deal with it. In the 12th planet, Stitchen cites cylinder seal VA243 in the collection of the Vordersignach Museum in Berlin as evidence that the Sumerians had acquired extensive knowledge of the solar system from extraterrestrials. The seal has since become famous among proponents of Stitchen's theories and has sent numerous researchers on a quest around the world to discover similar works. Stitchen claims that a symbolic image in the upper left of the seal represents the sun and the 11 planetary bodies, thus affirming the 12th planet scenario. Listen to this. This image is of central circular globe enclosed within a 6-rayed star, surrounded by 11 small dots. However, as Hirschel points out, and any scholar that can deal with the facts, the 4 celestial objects with 6, 7, and 8 points in Sumerian art always represent stars descent from our local sun. And the Samaritan actually represented the local sun and the solar deity Utu or Utu, U-T-U, or Shamash or Shamasha. SHAMASH, with one of the two symbols, either a circle with four arms between each emanated four ways of the solar wing disk. Neither of these symbols appear on VA243 of the tablet. Furthermore, the Samaritan art is replete with examples where the true symbol of the sun appears alongside 6, 7, or 8 ray symbol for the star that does appear on the diagram or on the tablet, demonstrating that the solar and the stellar system were not interchangeable in the Sumerian cosmos. Just destroying all that. Just destroying it. So that's what I've been telling us. And we steady, here it is, we talking about some alien stuff, people, instead of talking about who we are. And people act like they got some secret this, and they got some secret pill, and this, all this, and it's some old fake, and everything is fake, and this, and that, and everything, you know? And when I show you images, when I show you things, I show you how it's all propaganda, you know? Then he say it was suggested that this diagram VA243, I'm giving numbers because if anybody is looking at things, they can pull this stuff up. They say they actually represent an offering being made to a fertility deity. And this could be supported by the interpretation of the seal, which reads DUBSIGA, Debisaga, Elat, you're his servant. In fact, there are hundreds of cylinder seals similar to that same thing known as offering seals, which a lot of those different features in 6, 7, and 8 raid star symbol above the head. You know, so why is it important to test the theories of Zachariah extension and how it was easily to destroy my man, the Carson dude, and how that the brother that the European Christian from Christian scholarship per se. It would have been more honorable if that individual would have just said, hey, you know what? Based on the information, you know what? Yep. And a person could have been like, you know, okay. And it could have been a whole nother conversation. But that's what I be talking about, the ego of people. When you know it's only about money. When you know it's only about money, that's how you know. And it don't be that hard to figure out after a while, because if a person is sincere, they can be sincerely wrong, you know, and stand and then be corrected, but we don't. You see? But we should. It should be vital question. You know, when people say this and that, and then people today promulgate that crap and make millions off this crap. You know? We should be able to say, hold on, wait a minute now. We shouldn't be allowed to do this. But what I be saying, what group of people is targeted for these people? Like now, when I talk about payola, I know y'all know what payola is, right? When I be saying this stuff is nothing but infomercials. So who should be accountable for these people coming on all these shows, talk shows, and all this podcasting and things with this stuff? Because if I'm right, or correct me if I'm wrong, y'all, this brother been on all type of shows and podcasts and things with this stuff, and people will be like, "Ooh, he got some hidden knowledge," and now what? And when a person be upset, when I say this, the person they chose to debate and on all everything what they said can be destroyed from for no one with no biasness. And I told a person, you cannot fake it and get people with spookism and propaganda and say this mean this and this mean this, especially when you try to talk about the cyanide Bible. Then I say, man, you done, because clearly you don't know what the cyanide mean. And then when I show you that you contradiction, everything you saying is totally off and everything you saying is wrong, and I don't know where you getting this stuff from to try to prove it right, but then we can say, okay, well, the whole Annunaki theory is off. then we can say the whole Barnabas concept is off from an Islamic perspective and a Christian perspective. And if anybody come with that, I'll give you ayahs and surah to go and show you that it's totally off. You know, from the Quran and the biblical scripture. So it ain't even nothing to be arguing about. You know. But this stuff be payola, the practicing of bribing someone to use their influence or position to promote a particular product interest. And this is what these people be doing. These people don't even be being held accountable, a melodic, a mystic, when they come on these people shows with that mess. And then they pay these people these fees. Because you heard what, if anybody, because since you talking about it, you know, because I be ear to things. Then my man say it costs $50,000 to debate him. What person in their right mind would pay $50,000 to talk about some damn Annunaki, some Zachariah stitching fake stuff, and it's the Iberian, and to talk about some Barnabas stuff? And then what perspective are you coming from? You know now, and I now whatever. When people have their belief system so far, that's what they into. They can believe whatever they want. Think about what I'm saying, y'all. Think about what I'm saying in that concept. Doesn't that make sense? So who are we? Who we gonna be mad at? That's why I be telling people, man, we so caught up, us as a people, and people be talking about some alien stuff, but we ain't caught up who we are with law. These people making millions off the ignorance of a people. The ignorance, especially of people that don't know who they are, especially of people that still think they can buy themselves to freedom. Still, the mindset of is just the same as a sovereign citizen. Still, is caught up in things that will never do nothing. And every time a person is faking it to the making and they get high up on the platform, boom, they can be destroyed. Who? By a person that really does it, especially with the internet. That's why I be saying it's no gratitude and no honor in nothing nobody do. There's no honor in men no more. Because I respect any man that excuse me, that once excuse me, sit down and have a discussion with someone. But then if what you saying definitely can be destroyed from no biasness, you should be able to be stand corrected. You should be able to stand with honor, especially be like, you know what, in this context and how you believe is your own way. But based off what we dealing with and the facts and the evidence, and we dealing with this particular craft, to say this and to say that, I'll have to say that you're wrong, sir. And that's why I said there's going to always be things to keep us off the breadcrumbs of who we are, what really important in life. Because all that other stuff does not make a difference. And I said, we still going to be arguing over this and that, who we this and that and other. No, they. We can deal with the facts and matter of things to become a complete filth, to be honorable, to be educated, to have businesses, to do things right, to be identified as a people. Don't want nothing given to us. Want to be identified as a people, come together, do what the laws say that we can do to rise up. And that's what? Wisdom and understanding and knowing who we are. I told people, man, it's going to always be destroyed. All that falseness and that old, somebody got some special this. Now, look at all these people that was teamed up with these individuals. I told y'all, it's going to always be in our so-called conscious community. When all these individuals say they got some special power over misnomer black people, or they got something that you don't have, and the reason why you're not successful is because you're not connected to this, or they got some secret wisdom or some secret pill, or they got, or before they had these $1 million contracts, and they got these underground bunkers, and they got these magic goddamn Jack and the Beanstalk pills, you know, XYZ, and they graduated from Harvard. All these things that people be saying to convince you who they are, and then it be destroyed. What do we say? What do misnomer black people say? I told y'all, the other man, or whatever you want to call it, would team up with you to mislead your own people. But they will not team up with you to mislead their people. You heard what I just said. I said a certain type of person will team up with you for you to mislead your people for $1 and so-called fame, but they will not team up with you to mislead their people. They won't do it. Why? Because their teachers and their priests is exactly what they known for. You might not know them; they ain't no celebrity unless they get on here like myself and choose to speak, and use it as a platform to talk to the world. But most people that be on platforms and be destroying these so-called scholars and this ancient wisdom, these be people that just study the Bible, and they be having priests and pastors and all this stuff, and they be telling them to be gentle with these people because the lack of wisdom, and a lot of time on both levels. But when a person just want to be arrogant, sometimes the truth must just come out. You know, and that's all I'm saying to my brothers and sisters. Like now, where did we go from this? Because most people is still going to believe what they believe. But this is what I'll be saying when people be saying Melanic and what's that Moog 9, bro? Billy got his exposed. What you call it? I gotta, yeah, man. But real talk, and that's what I want to, and that's what I want us to say. A person can be destroyed with a person that really say, "Hey, man, no, let's deal with the scholarship of it. Let's not make this no soap opera." Because a lot of people try to make things a soap opera and make things a mockery and say, regardless of the end of the day, I'm still get paid. And every time somebody say my name, blah blah blah, I'm going to make millions. Which I say true, but that's what you want to be known for. You want to be known for tricking your people for money, just like it's other characters on the internet. And I don't like to say names, but there's other characters on the internet that will say they were doing the good, but said they're going to be a character just to be famous and show that really black people ignorant and black people that think they know something only follow niggerly stuff and drama and things that's meaningless. And what had happened, that brother has become famous and he proved himself right. He didn't try to prove nobody wrong. He analyzed something. The man said the work we was doing. He proved the work we was doing, and he was like, "It's not working." He said, "I'm gonna make this facade for the internet, and see and show you how not only the low level vibration of misnomer black people are, no matter if they religious or etc." But he said just the average in general, I'm going to show you and make up this facade and be more popular and be more known, not only in my city, but all over the globe for being ignorant and saying some things than I was to help people. And show enough, and show enough, and show enough. So I give credit where credit is due. When a person say they're going to do something and happen, that's a profit. That's a profit to me. And I'm not giving what the person doing is glory, but what it said. I would never compromise myself or keep switching, reinventing myself for no dollar. I feel we can do this the right way. And if I have a good product and I continue having a good product and doing business, my success has to be measured what the creator has for me. And I just want my will and the creator wills to match. My success is not measured or looking at someone or to what anyone says success should be measured in the eyes of myself. You know? So I must continue to do and work my craft. And that's why when I do things, I ask for people if they want to send donations to our school or if they frequent our companies to get PDF books, get regalia, fez, turbans, tunics, etc. Or when I'm lecturing, I always give out my email and my phone number, and I ask nobles if anything, get some books and documents from me for small donations. I'll send them to your email, because I have all these PDFs and these books on my files, and we share the wisdom. Come to Sunday school, you know. So those are just some of the things, man, I wanted to talk about. Do anybody got anything they want to add? Thank everybody for their time. You know. Okay. Okay. Hmm. But yeah. But once again, man, I give y'all gratitude. I give y'all love. And I say, I just like jumping on here, man, and using this internet as I have my spare time. It's an honor to do this. And like I said, man, I we definitely need the people support, you know, to be able to teach this and be challenged by others, you know, especially those that look like me. That's the only challenge that I see, because everyone else know what I'm talking about, especially in academia, you know, especially in true understanding, especially when people say this is not this. And when I say, okay, well, if it's not that, especially if you melanated, when I start showing you things in first century, what the writer said in those times, what the artifacts and all these things, and I show you these concepts and these what was in Europe, this and that and the other, what will you say? When we start basing things on, okay, well, if this is not this and this is not that, then it's this. And we can't be arguing, basing things on how we feel, or being disgruntled per se, because we may have been, how can I say it, misled or mistaught, you know, and that's all we want brothers and sisters to understand, and not be biased and prejudiced in nothing that we do, and be just. So I'm saying, anybody got anything? What's the? Oh man, I'm done, man. You have to watch it. Can anybody answer that? Uh, with all respect, we've been going for a minute, but I was just looking at something. We can ready to get out of here. Yeah. So peace, everyone. Okay. I was just sending a couple emails out, so apologies, y'all. I was just waiting to see. But brother, Tony, I joined at the last minute. I'll have to watch Islam. Gratitude to you, Tony Snow. Peace and love, brother. No disrespect, but yeah, I'll give you a little crash course synopsis. Like the Anunnaki is like when a lot of people today, and they get these theories from pseudo, and they say Anunnaki is some alien, and Anunnaki can be proved that they're the Iberian, and people use these theories to discredit things, and certain people use that and also use the book of Barnabas and try to say these things are factual, this, and that, and the other. But on an Islamic and a Christian perspective, if you're going to deal with the facts, it's going to prove that what is being said and what is being promulgated is just not what it is pertaining to what you're saying that it's not. And so these things can be cross referenced. And so when a lot of us come from ego, and when we use things, and I say all books, you don't read books to believe in everything. You read things to dissect and see and analyze and dissect, deal with the language, the time. And a lot of brothers that call themselves Egyptologists and believe in that have gotten their information from a pseudo scientist, and the Anunnaki theory come from Zachariah Sitchin and a lot of his book theories, and all that is proven pseudo. And so that's what we were talking. That's what we were talking about. And then we were talking about the book of Barnabas, how a lot of the time period don't add up, and a lot of the surahs in the Quran and in the Bible justify and testify to what I'm saying. But of course, we could have a deeper discussion on this particular topic. But do anything else? Like I said, nobles, hit me up. Y'all got my information. I got documents. I got books. You don't have to go to Amazon to get nothing. You can hit me up. Of course, I want you to frequent my company, which is mypdfbooks.com. That's books with the Z, where you can download all books on your tablet or your phone and go to Office Max and Staples and they'll print them. Of course, I want you to deal with our other company, bindingbooks.com, where we print and bind books. That's expensive and rare for a fraction of the price. But while you're dealing with me, I always give out people my phone number and my email so we can communicate, so we can stay in connection. So any books, any literature that I have that you might want, you can get it for small pennies of a dollar. And you can support some, and I can get your tax exempt receipt. You know, if you want to learn how to wear your fez or your turban, we sell them. Hell, I'll give you one. Then I'll show you how to wrap it. You want a fez? You say you're more, I teach you what the fez is about. I'll gather and compile the book. My company, I have a whole connection where they make our fez with the proper perforations for symbology. But when you connect it to me, right here, I tell people there's no reason you have to go to these other places and spend thousands of dollars for books. And I always share this with people. I say, why would you want to go spend thousands for paper? And I converted them, you know, and it's all of it. And then you can come to our classes on Friday and we break down the books. We break down the science. We're not here to convert no one. What I'm here to do is challenge you to think and forget all that alien stuff. And it's not another somebody coming to save you. And let's deal with what's in reality. Number one, understanding who we are. The divine comes first once we understand that, and then the other come together, and then we operate as a people, not trying to change nothing, but resurrect ourselves. You know. So once again, if anybody that's on here, once again, I have a plethora of books. I have a plethora of documents. I have storage units with thousands and thousands of books. I have different databases with thousands and hundreds and thousands of books. Get with me. That's all you have to do. And I can help you build your library. I can help you a kid if they're struggling in academia, no matter what level of academia they're facing. If they're dealing with looking for peer-reviewed scholarly research, no matter if they're going for business or theology, philosophy, law, ethics, anything, we can have these conversations on reason and understanding because we're not dealing with no whole bunch of, no disrespect. I understand geometrics, and just like I understand the Orishas and all this stuff. But when people be dealing with these cars and they be talking about they doing all this, those cars don't mean factual all the time. No disrespect. I don't give a damn how many people you see on the internet, women saying they dealing with this and they got these cars and they saying it don't always mean that. Just like the numbers don't always mean that. No disrespect. Just like when I talk about gematria. Yes, that's great, but that don't always mean that. Why? Because gematria goes to what? When something is past. So you only can do that when something that's past per se. No, we deal with that in a whole different platform, but that's not, I'm not here to talk about that. When I show you is other ways to do things to make it real. And so that's what I wanted to talk about, man. So I hope everybody got something out of this. I hope everybody got a little understanding out of this. And once again, my email is Goodman, GOODMAN, KHARY @gmail.com. And my office number is 602-473-8767. If you want to, like I said, come learn, you can always be my special guest to sit with us in Zoom. But if you want to come to class all the time and say if you want a syllabus and say if you want to be a student. And it's just like when I say student, when I tell people there's nothing special. It's just like if you want to be, I use the analogy when people say when they want to be a member of a certain fraternity, order of martial arts or a so-called church. Okay, will you support the church with your time and finances? Yeah, okay, well, that's what it is. And here at the BBT, we a temple and a school. We do things. We do a lot of traveling. We own land. We have special classes. We have book clubs. We do things together. All my muftis get discounts and books for free and wisdom for free and regalia for free. And we have a enrollment package and a syllabus. And it's a certain way that we teach. And that enrollment package and that syllabus comes with like introduction package, just like if you were getting ready to take a class. And it comes with certain books and a syllabus. And it's certain things and basics and prerequisites that you have to understand before you even go further. Because a lot of people jump into this science with a misunderstanding or they be misconstrued about what this more science is and definitely what it's not. And so, if anybody is interested in what we teach and how we do things, I please ask you to hit me up. Check out our Temple and School webpage at www at bbtsciencetemple.com. Check us out. But check out morrishaberdasher.com and all our other sister companies. But if you own here, family, once again, if you come into my lectures, please hit me up. Come learn, especially if you're interested in who you are and just want to have dialogue coming from a good place. You know, this is the place. You know, and so with that being said, once again, if don't nobody have anything or anything they like to share, or if everybody's clear or no questions, I give y'all gratitude. I'll give it a couple more seconds to make sure everybody good. If everybody good, I'm good. You know, but gratitude once again for everyone. Peace, light, and illumination. And like I said, I just gave everybody my information. Uh, if y'all interested and if y'all want to link up, Islam Moore, I will definitely follow up. Peace and love to you, Tony Snow, and peace and love to your family. Peace and love to all your endeavors. May the benediction of Allah illuminate all your endeavors. And when I say Allah, I'm not talking about outside entity. You know, when I say Yahweh, we talk about things. I give credit to things that's I give homage to, and it's just what it is. But I give honor to you and your family, everybody else on here, Melodic Mystic, my Mufti, Noble Mufti Minister Brian. I don't know how to say that. Moke9, my Mufti Lamarck on Facebook, my Mufti Gregory Minister on Facebook. Peace, 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 and love and light to each one of y'all, man. And remember, man, let's keep this vibe open, man. That's all I'm saying, man. Let's keep this vibe open. And if anybody got anything, when I say anything that y'all want to know about and talk about, we right here. When I be saying, let's stop promulgating this falseness. Let's stop jumping on bandwagons and this alien and stuff and all this stuff. And no matter who it comes from, and then they try to cover it up. The source of all that information is pseudo. So if the source of the information is pseudo, what do that tell you? You're going to be easily destroyed when a person that really studied any form of discipline, especially if they're not coming biased, especially if you're going to say something is not this, and especially if you're going to quote some references that is that don't match the time. So with that being said, I give honor to y'all. I give love. Once again, hit me up, seek me out, man. Let's do business. Let's talk to each other. Let's help each other. We're getting ready to have our 5th annual Morris Ball. Become a student, come learn, share this with your friends, y'all. Subscribe to our Temple and School YouTube channel at Burning Bush Tabernacle, Science Temple and School for our ADAPT class, our Sunday school, and our book reading. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel at Burning Bush Tabernacle, Science Temple and School if you haven't already. I love y'all, man. Gratitude. Peace, 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 peace.